or I got to go to your page to?
Either one of the pages it will. And here
Okay.
we go. What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your brother from another, Brother Mays. That's right, we're back. I actually have a special guest in the house. Hey, listen, man, I am loving the fact that I am finally getting to introduce and interview the one and only Marquita Owens out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, certified cycling instructor and entrepreneur. So with a round of applause, help me welcome Marquita Owens.
Hey.
Yay! I know that's right. How you been, girl? How have you been?
I've been really, really good. I cannot complain. I'm sitting up here trying to figure out on my phone how to make it.
Well, not a problem. Take your time. We're going to get this situated because I want you to have as many people on supporting you and
Here we
in this
go.
journey. So it's not a problem. Not a problem.
There we
Why
go.
you?
I'm
Got it?
not technology savvy.
Well, you know, since we've had this COVID-19 thing going on,
I'm not technology savvy.
it's perfectly fine. Hey, listen, since we have had this COVID-19 going on, I think we all have found out just how savvy we really are. And,
Yeah.
and you know, our kids have become our teachers and everything. And of course, if you homeschooled your child, you're probably getting tired of them by now and you're ready to kick them into summer camp, which most places ain't gonna have a summer camp. So it is what it is. But hey, y'all, if you're just now tuning in, I am live with Marquita Owens, certified cycling instructor, and of course, entrepreneur, businesswoman. I tell you, got 2 or 3 things going on at one time. And you know, give a little backstory real quick, guys. I've known this young lady for years. I met Marquita in college. And if you knew Marquita then, like, well, let's put it this way. The Marquita then to the Marquita now, probably the same person, but just in a different manner. But I'm gonna let her tell you more about that because we're gonna really get running with this because this young lady has taught me about what's the word I want to look for? Perseverance. Am I saying that correctly?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. There you go. Listen, I'm supposed to be a tutor and everything, and you know it is, but can't get my words right. But this is real funny because let me tell you something. She has really persevered, and she has moved from a place in her life where she said, I'm going to make a decision about me. And by making that decision about her, saying that I'm going to make some changes, it is just motivating. And so about 2 or 3 years ago, and I'll let her tell you the whole story, she went on this documented journey of her health and how she changed it. So I got to just ask the first question, who is Marquita?
I don't even know how to answer that because I feel like I transformed into somebody different. I'm a fighter, a warrior, a survivor, a wife, a mom. I feel like I hold a lot of titles to where I can't really put it in a nutshell. So I feel like every day I'm evolving into something different. But what just came to mind is Marquita is a blueprint.
Okay.
Marquita is a blueprint. I would say that's what I am.
Now, when you say a blueprint, is that a blueprint that you carefully constructed, or is this a blueprint of all the things over the years that people have said, well, this is Marquita and that's Marquita, and well, this is a little bit of me and this and that. Have you combined all those things together, or is this just been you?
I would say it was something that I constructed because to me, I feel like the world defines us on its own. So for me, it was stuff that I had to be comfortable with being. And so in saying that I feel like Marquita is the blueprint, I always use that far as what I want to leave behind to my kids. So
Gotcha.
far as how to be a mom and still go after things that you want, or how to be a wife and still make time for you, or how to
Right.
struggle and still pick yourself up and keep on pushing. Because like I said, the world will tell you what your worth is, but until you know what your worth is, then it really doesn't matter. So blueprint that came to I think that's what I'm going to have to hear from here out on out go with, you know.
Well, I tell you, we had, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. A good friend of mine, he was saying that, man, I'm weighing, man, I weigh 200 pounds. I finally hit 200 pounds. I'm so glad. I'm like, really? I'm trying to get under 200 pounds. People, but no, but his thing was he wants to gain weight and he wants to really
Yeah.
focus on, building muscle and things. And I'm telling him, I said, well, at my age, I'm looking at toning and I'm looking at losing and, really eating healthier, obviously. But at the end of the day, I want really kind of start this interview off and just to let people know this is the second part of a series that I'm doing, a 4-part series I'm doing called Finding Fitness During Harsh Times. And of course, the first show that I did with certified fitness trainer Calvin Allen, he spoke behind the science of it and the data and pretty much all the things that prove like why you should be doing this in comparison to why you shouldn't in order to really help yourself. And so the second part, I really wanted to go with a personal documentary or personal situation where someone can say, this was my experiences and my experience, and this is how I could change it and what I did to change it. And so this is one of the reasons why you came to mind. So I thank you for joining me tonight to help people who are battling with personal fitness and of course change in general.
Right.
So kind of take us back. I want people to kind of feel a little bit of what I felt going back a few years ago when I see my college friend, she's on Instagram, and all of a sudden she's like, okay, I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to do it this way. And every single day, well, I'll let you explain that. Tell us about that.
So basically how it started was I'm a person who will start a diet and quit a diet. You know,
Uh-huh.
most of us do. We're going to lose weight for our birthday, or we're going to lose weight for this wedding, and then
Right.
after that thing has passed and the holidays are come, we pack those pounds back on. And I was
Right.
getting ready to turn 40, and I didn't want to go into my 40s the same way I've lived my adult life. I had my first child at the age of 19. So I
Mm-hmm.
had always been overweight. So it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like I was tired of that yo-yo diet. So it was kind of like if I could challenge myself to exercise
Mm-hmm.
every day for 1 year, then I knew I had it. And that's pretty much how it happened is I challenged myself because I was the girl who wanted a quick fix, that I wanted to lose weight
Right.
quick, or I didn't want to really put in the sweat equity for it
Mm-hmm.
for a long period of time. So in doing it for a year, it
Mm-hmm.
actually changed my whole life more than what I thought it was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was just gonna, get in shape and do like I normally did, but it took on a whole life of its own. And in that year, it ended up being leap year, so that's how I got the 366 because
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. I said, now there's 365 days in a year. Where's this 366 coming from?
I started my journey on a leap year, so
Oh
that's
my
where the
God.
366 came from, and that's what made it so special because it was
Uh,
a unique journey. And it when I say it was a tough journey, but it
mm,
was well worth it because it taught me things that I
mm,
didn't even know. Like I said, I didn't know the value of myself because I had kids at 19 and I was so
right.
used to giving myself away to everybody else that I wasn't making time for
For
myself. So
yourself.
giving
Yeah.
myself every day, no matter what, it was that personal time for me that wasn't for anybody else. And now this is year 5.
Hey, listen, and it's funny because your time frame is the same time frame that I'm hitting being back in Southwest Missouri, not too far from Tulsa, of course, in Springfield area. And I came back for my mom. My mom was very ill, and so I came back to take care of her. But during that process, instead of losing weight, I was gaining weight. I started doing things and eating things, and I was like, wait a minute, I normally don't do this anymore. I was an athlete. Let me get myself back
Yeah.
in the shape. But I kind of want to take you back to that moment because, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you is that what was the turning point? And you mentioned that, you were going into this new year, you're coming out of Christmas and all, but that turning point for you was saying something like, hey, I don't want the past. I want a new future for myself. So you have different hats, you have different businesses.
Mm-hmm.
What business? You were a stylist, or you're a stylist
I
still?
still am now.
You still are.
I hairstylist also.
Oh, okay. So you were styling hair at the time and you wanted to make this change. What was the first steps that you took when you said, hey, I'm going to do this? Did you get a personal trainer, or was this like, okay, I'm going to lock myself in a room and I'm just going to start doing this? I mean, where did it
No,
start?
I started riding my bike because a year or so before I had to have knee and foot surgery. So it
Okay.
made me gain weight because I had started a journey then, and having knee and foot surgery, it made me unmobile. So
Right.
it kind of made it to where I couldn't run. So I had a bike and I was like, oh, I don't want to ride this stupid bike. But,
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the irony of that is a little later here you are teaching cycling. So go ahead.
I was like, I don't want to ride this stupid bike, but I couldn't no longer run anymore. So I just started
Right,
like, okay, if you ride 1 mile, and then
right.
1 mile became 2 miles became 3. And then I was like, hey, document yourself riding the bike every day. And my kids would make fun of me. They'd be like, hey, Facebook, like, stop making fun of me documenting my story. But I mean, it just started off by just
Uh,
being active. It was like, no
right.
matter what, I just had to be active. It didn't matter what that movement was. It
Mhm.
was just, the goal was to get moving. So, but
Well,
I ended up falling in love with riding the bike because
mhm.
I could go further and further, out. So,
No, and that's perfectly fine because I was looking at some of your videos, and as I was telling you, I said you do these great videos of personal endeavors. And it's kind of like you have some short-term successes, and you're saying, okay, this is what we're going to do today. How you have grown from, and I look at your your Instagram followers, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm looking at a star in the making. You got your Sean T's and you got all these people out there, but you are a star in the making when it comes to fitness. And I noticed that people really they attract to you. What do you think? Why do you think people are attracting to you in that manner? Because it's like people just saying, hey, I like this lady. I like what she's saying.
um, I would say because my story is real and it's
Mhm.
like them. I don't sugarcoat anything. When I'm tired, I'm tired. If I want a hamburger, I want a hamburger. I mean, I'm just like everyone else. I have my
Uh,
down days to where I have no confidence, and then I have my days where I think I'm the stuff, or whatever else. So I try
uh,
to present, a unique story,
mhm.
just to the wife or the mom or
Mhm.
whoever else. So I
Mhm.
feel like maybe that's why people are drawn to me, because
Right.
I try to keep it as real as possible, not giving them that, hey, if you drink this tea, this is going to work, or hey, this is yummy. I'm gonna give you the truth. So
Well, through your journey, so far through your journey, it looks like you have really not only attracted people, but you've attracted foundations and companies. You were an Anzi ambassador. Am I correct?
oh yeah, I think it's onesie unzie.
Onesie. I know I say onesie or Anzi, and I was like,
No,
should I say it this way?
Onesie.
Well, it's an athletic wear. When I looked it up, I
Yeah,
was like, wow.
them
I said all
and
these people are fit and this and that. How did that come about?
just basically reaching out. They kind of look at your social media profile and see
Mm,
what you're pulling in, and what if you're uh, how interesting you are. I'm also an ambassador for Carbon. They're
okay. Yeah.
athletic wear also, so they go towards fitness instructors and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I want to keep on doing that, just getting my face and my story out there. My thing is to inspire anybody who wants to be inspired, and motivate one person at a time, two, or whatever.
Well, listen, guys, I see a lot of people are joining us. I mean, trust me, there's known people. Lynn, how you doing? Michelle Dickman. Let's see, Frank Dwayne Williams, nice to meet you. Rick Party, national syndicated host of the Rick and Sasha Show, one of my mentors and guy.
Hey.
Yay! Hey man, you need to get her on your show, man. Check, you listen, everybody, check her out. This is Marquita Owens at 366 Fit Mom on IG, Instagram. Okay, when you look at her story, go back a couple years and this come all the way back up, and you will see what I'm talking about and why I'm so motivated. Because this is somebody I remember seeing in college as I'm walking to class. She's over here in some corner and she's looking and I'm looking and she's kind of like shy. So you think about this 20 some odd years later. Hold on. And
It's ironic that I teach a class.
Exactly. And she's teaching classes and everything. So I think it's great.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You were saying?
I said, what's so funny is my name is Quiet Storm, because like before class, I'm like.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. This is so good. This is so good. Well, yeah, so we met at Baker University. That's where we attended. We graduated. Great alumnus there. And of course, we're talking about her journey. She documented her journey for 366 days now, because she started on a leap year, about her from really starting out to where there was no exercise involved. Am I correct? You wasn't doing any exercise?
Just a little, but not at a committed rate. You know, right. It was one of those things, like I said, where I would do it and then that roadblock would knock me down and then put the weight, back on. So.
Well, now obviously you take pictures of then and now and different parts of this journey, and I'm like, okay, I see the change, and I look at myself and going, I think I need to do the same thing. And but here's one of the questions that I wanted to focus on, because I think this is really going to be really the pinnacle of the rest of this interview. In your intro, you talk about faith, family, fitness, food, and fun. I wanted to focus on faith because obviously this is a Christian-based show. And so a lot of people who are watching, their faith is here. But how did faith really help motivate you and pretty much keep you streamlined in where you are now?
I would say that is the main source of why I'm here. Was able to take the journey just because, like I said, I started off with being able to run. And not being able to run anymore, or having no mobility, and having to learn how to ride a bike all over again. You underestimate the muscles in your body. Or I also have a plate in my foot. So I was in the bed for 6 weeks, no weight bearing at all. It changes the way you think, and it gives you time to spend with, sitting in God's presence, because right. When we have mobility, we forget about him. I mean, not on purpose, but we're always on the go. So I feel like in that moment is where I got closer to him, because I mean, I had nowhere to go but to be in that bed and depend on him. So, and then, like I said, learning the process of riding a bike and using those muscles. I also use this book called Jesus Calling on days where I felt weak and I didn't want to go on. It's something about that book that always hit and was right on time. So for me, so I hope that answers your
no,
question.
that's perfect. Like I said, the story behind your success is really pinnacle, because so many people start in different places in their life, and I know for me it was until I really saw the results of my doctor's appointment 2 years ago. And I remember going in, it was in October, and my doctor said, he says, your A1C is a 9. And I was like, okay, is that good, bad, or what is that? And he's telling me, people most likely want to be around a 6. And then next thing I know, 3 months later, I'm at a 13. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I'm taking the medication and I'm exercising 2 to 3 times a week. But no, it was really the way I ate, obviously the stress that I was dealing with, and that was a whole nother factor too. So again, I started at a different place in my life. You had this goal where it seemed like it started out maybe like I'm going to complete this task in a few weeks or a few months, and then next thing you know, here it is, it's a year. And
Yeah.
so, and I remember when you hit that pinnacle, you hit that end of the year, and you was like, okay, round two, let's do this again. And I was like, so take me back to that moment too, because once somebody hits a certain goal, some people just they say, okay, I'm good. So
Yeah, I remember at the tail end of that year, people were like, hey, are you gonna do it again? What are you gonna do? I'm like, yeah. And when I did, it was like I brought a tribe along with me. It was like
right,
this girl gang. It was like a good 5 to maybe 10 of us that was hitting the gym every morning. And it's a group of them that hit a year, and a lot of them are on year 4. You know, some of them
right.
the first year with me working out. They didn't actually start at day 1, but
Mhm.
some of them were working out whenever they could. But like I said, some of them are on year 2, year 3, year 4. So we got a girl gang of,
Hey,
of 366 fit moms.
I,
And like I said, it started off as, oh, I'll just do a year. And then it's like, okay, I'll do 2 years. And then the more people who were getting inspired and kept on going, I was like, okay, I'll do it one more time.
right.
And one more time. So yeah.
So being with that being said, you get your followers. They're following you. They're saying, okay, I'm going to come to your class because I got a little surprise for you. So a good friend of mine, his wife, uh, actually lived in Tulsa, and she was there temporarily doing project management, and she wanted to find a cycling class, and she came across your class. And this, yes, she did. And so this was what was so funny. So I'm sitting at dinner with them, and they, back up here in Springfield, and we talking. And I said, yeah, I got a friend of mine that she has a cycling class down there in Tulsa. And she goes, yeah, I went to a few cycling classes down there. And I said, oh, really? I said, her name is Marquita Owens. And she goes, what? Like that? And I go, yeah. And she goes, I can't do it. No, she was just too tough. She was like, oh my God. You know, I literally, she said she walked out of the class. So if you remember this little white lady that's probably about 5 foot on the dot, she could not do it. And so she tells me that story all the time. And then she says she was going to go back and apologize to you. So how tough was, yeah, I got to ask this question. How tough was it teaching your class, but teaching people you knew? Because I know that some people, when I look at your page, some people said, hey man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. So where did that come into place?
Um, Let me just rewind it just a little bit.
Yeah.
When I first, cycling is the toughest cardio you will ever, I mean, to me, you will ever do in your life. Before I started teaching it, my best friend used to always go, and I'm like, I'm not doing no cycling. That's stupid. Call me when you done or whatever else. But my first cycling class, I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Who wants to do this? But it was something about how the instructor made me feel is how I fell in love with it. So for me to teach it to people I know or I don't know, I feel like it's easy because I love it so much. It changed my whole life. I feel like, I mean, besides God, I wouldn't be where I am today without cycling. It's the one thing that will challenge you mentally and physically. I mean, people know I probably bleed cycle or bleed bikes out of my veins.
Yeah, because I'm waiting to see one of these commercials like Peloton and all that other stuff, and then I see you sitting on the bike talking about, come on, enjoy, stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes.
Here's a question I want to ask. Do you feel that the struggle was more with the lack of motivation to exercise than the ability to exercise?
Yeah, you definitely have to be motivated to do anything far as when it comes to working out. And I always say, start with something that you like. If you like walking, start with walking. If you like lifting weights, start with lifting weights, but start with something and you'll become, to me, a pro at it. And that's what I did. I just started with something, just being active is the biggest thing. And then finding, you're not always going to have a support system, because I don't feel like I had to become my own support system.
Right.
In some aspects. So you have to learn how to motivate yourself at the same time. Like I said, every day won't be easy, but the journey definitely, if you don't quit, it is well worth it. So
You know, and you're speaking of that, you recently reached a milestone, and I was watching on social media, and I said 1600. Tell us more what 1600 is.
1600 is 1600 days of waking up and saying, I will not give up on myself.
Wow.
1600 days of saying that you are important, that you deserve, out of 24 hours, you deserve a little piece of that pie. 1600 also represents in my family is heart disease. I changed
Explain
my
that, yes, please.
rate of having heart disease from we have congestive heart failure on my mother's side, and I changed my percentage from having heart disease from, I believe it was 35% to a 0.03% chance of having heart disease. So
Oh
that's what
man.
1600 also represents. I used to be pre-diabetic. I'm no longer diabetic. I'm not on blood pressure medicine anymore. So 1600 means that I'm creating a blueprint and a foundation for my kids that, hey, if mama can do it, I can do it too. And to anybody else, I'm no different than you or whoever. I'm just somebody who chose to put myself first.
Well, you talk about one of the things you talk about is you strengthen family, and being that you're saying you're basically breaking the chains here, breaking this generational curse with sickness. How does that affect the family? And I was going to ask you about that. Your husband, obviously, your family, your kids. You said in the beginning the kids were kind of like, "Oh, this is not, mom. She's on a bike, and that's not going to work." Uh, has that changed their attitude in regards to exercise? And of course, I know your husband is a firefighter, and man, good man, great guy. I call him Ready Freddy, but he's got to stay in shape too. So has this become a whole family thing?
Um, to be honest,
Yeah.
yes and no. For the most part, the first couple of years, no, I was in it knee deep by myself in the trenches, cooking separate meals. Nobody was trying to work out with me. They'd work out sometimes. Nobody
Right.
was trying to eat what I was eating. I was in this journey, in the valley,
Yeah, in the
really
valley. Yeah.
by myself. They were cheering me on, but I had to stay motivated. My husband, he would work out with me sometimes, but being in that fitness realm, he basically got burnt out. But at the same time, he'd be like, hey, I'm cheering for you, go ahead. Or if you need to learn bicep curls or whatever else,
Right.
in that way. This year, my youngest son, he has hit a amazing transformation.
Is that growth spurt that I saw? Is that
Growth
that?
spurt and weight
Yeah.
loss. We started this program, Sprint 8, and now he's self-motivated. Like, I'd be teaching him on the bike, like, hey, yeah, let's go. Now he comes upstairs and does it on his own. He gets out on the track and goes for runs by himself, takes his bike. So, like I said in the beginning, blueprint. I'm creating a blueprint for them to live by of, hey, if mama is doing this, then I can too. So I would say my family is super supportive, but I'm trying to get them not as crazy as me about fitness, but
Yeah. I see you changing. You have some other hats that you have. Obviously, being a business owner, you're a stylist. Obviously, you own your own business. Kind of change over into, because you mentioned about fixing meals, and I saw you doing preparation of certain meals over time, and I was like, man, that looks good. Let me do the same thing, and which I have, and I actually done that a lot more lately than I ever have. But you went into the juicing business, and man, what was, let's see, I saw one that it sounded like a girlfriend's name, and I can't think of it right off the bat. You got these names. Tell us about the business itself. Just tell us, how did that start?
So the business started from people asking me what did I do along my journey, and so instead of constantly telling people, it was like, why don't you develop a business out of your journey? And that's where the juicing came along. So, and the names came because I wanted the juices to be named after women or things that women would
Yes.
say, or like the attitude of a woman. So like with Spicy Mama or Shake Your Money Maker.
Shake Your Money Maker. I think that's the one that got me when I seen. I said, I was like, what's that taste like? And so from that, and so that kind of tells me you're inspired by your friends as well. And so with this change, how is that taking off so that you could, I mean, because you mentioned that one of your goals is to bring it all together as under one umbrella. How is that change, or how's that goal servicing as we speak?
Actually, it's funny you asked that because I have a client who I do her hair. We're 4 weeks into training right now. She's allowed me to do Sprint 8, and she's already lost so much weight. You can see her transforming, and she's been buying my juices. So I told her she's the poster child of what I want to stand for as far as from the full body transformation. So after these 2 weeks, I told her we're gonna have to do a photo shoot too. I take pictures also.
Yeah,
so,
I'm gonna get into that because I'm gonna have to take a trip down to Tulsa, man. Your pictures are amazing. I said, because I had a guy ask me, he says, hey, he said, Brother Mays, have you done a photo shoot? And I said, it's been a long time. And I said, but I definitely need to get one right away. So we'll talk about that off the air or whatever. So with that photo shoot, I mean, you doing photography and everything. It seems like if I'm like one of your clients, I'm walking in the door, I'm going to get my hair done, which in this case it ain't much to get done. But if I'm going to get my hair done and say I'm thirsty, is the juices all on the shelves and they right there for them to take and say, hey, ooh, let me get some of that Big Mama or whatever the case is. I mean, because you're saying it's really pretty much right there. And so do you also, as you're talking to them, you're saying, okay, girl, when was the last time you exercised?
right.
And or whatever the case may be, because now I'm thinking in my head, if you're doing all this and I come in, man, I'm walking out a different person. It ain't just my hair. It's my attitude's done changed. I'm feeling better. I mean, I got juice in my hand. I got a scheduled appointment to get some training and go cycling on it. I get it. I totally get it. So is
Right.
that the whole premise of this
That's
business?
pretty much the picture and how it's going now. Like I have some clients who will order juice because right now I'm just doing pre-orders, but they'll order juice, and when they come in, their juice is waiting for them. So I'm doing their hair and they're drinking their juice at the same time. Today I had a client, she came in, she brought her juice that she had ordered. I did her hair. We went over to the gym and trained, and she drank her juice at the same time. So
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, so to me, it's like my dream is starting to develop before my eyes. I just need a little more time and space to house everything. So I'm excited about the future, just because everything that I want to happen is starting to fall into place. So because a lot of
This is
people,
your season.
yeah, people would be like, you do a lot. I'm like, but everything is in one little box though.
Yeah. Well, this is your season. And for those who are joining, because we're gradually getting people, if you want to ask a question, feel free on social media. Just go ahead and ask the question. Obviously, Marquita will answer it. Or just send, if you need to go to my inbox, go to my inbox on Live with Brother Mays, or you can go, or Live with Brother Mays, or you can go to my Facebook page, Brother Mays, and either one, ask the question that you'd like to ask. We are sitting with Marquita Owens, certified cycling instructor and entrepreneur. We've done told you that she's a stylist. She's also a business owner that owns a juicing business, and there's another attachment to this. With the exercise, with the cycling and stuff. But kind of to round it up a little bit, what's your ultimate goal with this business? I mean, if you could say 20 years from now, you can look back, what was this all about?
The ultimate goal is to help other people change their lives, like I have, and to basically have that confidence and believe that they can and they will, that's why it's important for me to launch a business that houses all of that. Just because whenever you're a stylist, you're constantly motivating, listening to their stories or whatever else. So I feel like I get to spend a lot of personal time with clients when they're in my chair. I get to know a whole lot about them and help change their way of thinking and help boost their self-confidence or whatever else. So I feel like that's my main mission, is to just have my own establishment to where I'm in control of helping people take their take their life into a whole nother direction, or take their life back. That was like my biggest saying at the end of my first year. It was called the take back, because like I said, a lot of times we let our jobs or whatever else dictate our value to where we don't even know our value. We let a job tell us how much we should be paid, how many hours we should be there. And we tell ourselves, I'm not worthy of 30 minutes. I'm not worthy of 15 minutes. So my goal is to show people that you are worthy of 15. Heck, you're worthy of 2 to 3 more hours on top of that. So I like to use the analogy of when you're on a plane and the plane is going down, who do they tell you to say first? They tell you to put the mask on you first. So in life, if you're not putting the mask on you first, what good are you to your family? You're no good. So you have to take that time out to work out. You have to take that time out to give yourself a mental break. Because if you don't, you're like that plane that's falling, So
No, you just actually woke me up to something that I didn't even think about. But you're really not only focusing on yourself, but you're on a plane, and of course, it's the first thing they tell you. They say, hey, before you help the next person, even your own children, make sure your mask is on first. So I'm gonna kind of take that and diverse that over to our current situation. We are in some very harsh times, just because a lot of people have lost their jobs. They've had extra time to put focus on exercise, obviously. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think a lot of people mindset is on exercise. They're more concerned about, what am I gonna be doing out of this, because I'm jobless.
Yeah.
How do you talk to someone who is stressing between their finances and their health?
It's no, it's not up for discussion. You can and you will.
Right.
Basically, trouble don't last always.
Woo, go on, preach now. I like that. Trouble don't last always.
Yes, the sun is gonna have to shine during this quarantine. What came to me is the tide is changing. The tide may seem like it's well over your head, but it's going to shift. It's going to shift. Stay. Tread the water. Tread it. It's gonna change. Stay.
I like that.
Keep on moving. Even if you're moving a millimeter or whatever, it's going to change. Hey, it's tough for me, but being able to train people, it motivates me to not have time to be depressed or give up on myself. So if I'm not giving up on myself, I'm definitely not going to let you give up on yourself. So we're going to fight with these life preservers or whatever together.
I like the fact that you use analogies as where it's people coming together. It's like you said with the life preserver. Somebody's got to throw you the life preserver, number one. Okay, and obviously you seem like you're in that position. Tell people what they will find if they go to 366 Mom, Fit Mom, because when I go, I see a story. Just because I have been following you for quite some time. But tell people who don't know you what they will find when they go see that, because your pictures say a lot, and your videos.
They'll find somebody who has some determination, who has I'm not going to give up on myself type of attitude. You will see me probably like, hey, or whatever else. I try to always be motivated. Every once in a while, you'll see, the trenches, but at the same time, I try to be as raw and real, so that way I'll be relatable. That's my biggest thing. Is I want to be relatable. I want someone to see me and not see 1,600 days later me, but where I was before and how I've struggled so many times. So I didn't get it right. I didn't get it right until age 40. So even if you fail for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or whatever else, keep on pushing. You're going to get it right.
That's a good point. And I can concur. Watching you through this journey, you will go back. You're not afraid to go back to show people, hey, this is where it started. And so you give the then and you give the now, and there's some stories in between, obviously. What do you foresee coming out of this pandemic? What kind of ideas have come to mind to where you say, okay, I'm gonna do this a little better, or I'm gonna try doing this? What comes to mind in regards to expanding your business?
I would say more so pushing myself in business. I feel like sometimes that's where I draw back and am insecure as far as the juicing business. I actually tried to launch it last year, but just that teeny bit of insecurity of, dang, are people tired of seeing me? Are they tired of seeing my story? Or are people going to buy it? So just having more faith in myself and having a good support system, like friends feeding into you, telling you, hey, go, push, throwing me that life preserver that I've been throwing out to them, finding people to feed my passion. So that's what I see is me staying on this journey and making it bigger than what I can imagine. Because sometimes I only see it this big when it's really, that big. So.
Well, coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I mean, obviously people come for various reasons. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I have family down there. It's funny because I used to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma when I was younger, and my uncle, who obviously he's passed away, God rest his soul, he lived on the street with Charlie Wilson. Matter of fact, they grew up. Yeah, he grew up, Booker T. Washington, everything. They went to school together. He used to tell me all kinds of stories about Charlie Wilson's Gap Band and all that, and a lot of stories. But at the end of the day, we used to go down there to eat these hot dogs. There's this place down there where you get these little hot dogs. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Coney Island?
Yes. Yes. My aunt, she gonna get me when I say this. Anybody would go, anytime she go down there, she would bring back all these conies, right? And we'd be like, hey, let me get 2, let me get 3, let me get 4. And we would pig out.
That place is still like crack for people.
I know. So when I go back down there, I am not going to get me a coney. I am going to come to your class. I know that. I'm letting you know that right now.
Let me kill you. Let me kill you.
I'm coming to your class first. Well, hold up. If I come to your class first and I do good, then can I go get a coney?
Yes. So one of my friends, she was like, she brought her husband and he was like, this is witchcraft. What? It will have you cussing. It will.
Oh yeah. Hey, like I told you, my friend, she said, no, I'm not going back. And I laughed because I said, what do you mean? And she's like, she tough. Oh, she just don't stop. And I was like, yeah, okay, I gotta get down there for this. But before we close out, because you are a triple threat, I want you to tell people where they can find you in all 3 of your businesses.
I know, right?
I know, that's what I was saying.
Where can you catch me?
Where can they catch you? Obviously, they can see a whole story on 366 Fit Mom, but tell everybody where they can find you. And of course, I will be, for anyone that wants to know more, I'm going to be posting this video on my website, Live W Brother Maze. That's BROTHAMAZE.com. So that's livewbrothermaze.com. You can see this video, of course, of this broadcast and all the previous ones before. But go ahead and tell everybody about your businesses, where they can find you, and so on.
So I do hair, but I'm not taking clients. So I've been doing hair for about 20 years, so I'm pretty much set on that. But yes, but on social media, you can either look for me at Marquita Owens on Facebook or on Instagram. It's 366 Fit Mom. That's where I document my journey. This is year 5, also going into a leap year. So wrapping it up, starting with the leap year, ending, I
Ending on
say,
the leap year.
ending with a leap year, or
Yeah.
Juicy 918. That's where I house my juice business that I just launched also. So those are pretty much the 3 platforms that you can find me on. So, oh, and I also work at Cycle Bar South Tulsa in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a good butt kicking or some good motivation, they call me, they say I sound like a Southern Baptist preacher on the bike. So I'm gonna take you to church. I'm gonna kill you and take you to church at the same time.
Well, I'm gonna find out real soon. I gotta make, like I said, I gotta make it down there to do that. I said this has got to be a must for me to do so. And of course, with your family, I wish you all the best. I mean, I'm a fan, and you tell Ready Freddie, man, this is her husband, Ready Freddie. We had some good times playing football and everything up there at Beck University, and I'm just so proud of you, your family, and everything that you're doing. And thank you for joining me tonight on this show.
No, thanks so much for having me. It was been fun, some good laughs. So
yes, definitely. All right. So Facebook, listen, guys, this is where you can find me each and every week on Wednesday nights. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time, and of course 9 p.m. Central time. That's live with Brother Mays, with your one and only, your brother from another. That's me. I'm out.
bye. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.